Thank you, Mr. Williams, and greetings and good afternoon to all listening via radio, tuning via various media platforms, and watching on television. Today I bring you our 38th situation report from the NEOC. I want to highlight an area of concern to the NEOC. The 911 has received a total of 136 calls for the past 24 hours. However, 77 of those calls have been prank calls. 77 prank calls. That means we have a lot of time on our hands to do idle things. I want to make an appeal to all individuals who are carrying out these prank calls to cease from doing so. We are still dealing with a pandemic, and I am asking you to please be guided accordingly. We thank the general public for the continued cooperation. However, I really am passionate, that persons are taking time out not to adhere to some of the regulations, but to carry out such callous acts against individuals who are sacrificing their time and giving us professional service in terms of the telecommunications and the managing of these calls, and you are taking time to call them for pranks. Just imagine that by you taking 1 minute to make a prank call, that 1 minute could have cost someone their life. That's not right, and such acts we must condemn. The compliance task force continued their visits today. A total of 74 businesses were inspected and 8 passenger buses on the West Line. I am informed that the business community are being more compliant. However, we see some challenges still with the bus being compliant. Just today I received several WhatsApp messages from citizens, concerned citizens, showing me inside of the buses and the overloading of buses by bus drivers. And when the bus drivers are confronted, the bus drivers are stating to the passengers that they have money to make. Let's bear this in mind. We are dealing with a pandemic, and it costs more for someone to have to be treated in a hospital than a bus fare. Please be guided. The RSS plane should be in St. Kitts tomorrow. That's tomorrow, Friday, 8th May, to collect samples to take to CAFA in Trinidad tomorrow. We have received several requests for repatriation flight. One such flight is for 7 students from the Ross University who wishes to return to the United States via San Juan. And 2 of the other requests are citizens of the Federation who are desirous of returning to St. Kitts and Nevis via the USVI. Those requests are presently being processed. The task force, the national task force today visited the Carrie Brewery, the Harrow Silver, Cajola Cristada, and St. Kitts Brushes. There was a concern that we needed to engage this manufacturing sector, and hence a delegation led by myself and Dr. Laws would have engaged the managers of these plants. To date, we are pleased with some of the results, and we have advised some of these businesses that they are still exerting gaps that are not aligned with the regulations. So therefore, we have asked them to do their best to ensure that they are compliant with the regulations. I want to acknowledge a concerned and appreciative citizens who is a teacher who came to the NEOC and donated a cash sum of $250 to be used to provide meals for the vulnerable. To that citizen and jolly citizen, we say to you, thank you, and continue being a good patriotic citizen. I also want to highlight the commendations that Sugar City Rock, in particular Mr. Val Thomas, shared with me regarding the professionalism of the compliance task force that visited their radio station. He stated that they were very professional. They provided him with guidance and their team with guidance as to the things they need to do in order to be compliant. And to them, Mr. Thomas and his team at Sugar City Rock, wish them a hearty thank you. And we also say thank you to you, Sugar City Rock, for carrying this program every day live on your radio station. I also want to remind the general public that we are closer and closer to the start of the hurricane season. And I want to admonish you to begin to prepare or review your personal plans, family plans, and equally so, your institutional or business hurricane preparedness and response plan. Please don't be left behind. With that said, I want to thank you, Mr. Williams, for the opportunity for us to present to the general public today, and we look forward for the questions.